Now, I would like to talk about the introduction. Environment encompasses the whole life on the earth and the complex interaction between the living world and the physical world. The environment is about the air, water, land, forest, oceans, river, the living organism, the physical, and the biotic habitat. Besides, there is an application of scientific principles which we call as environmental engineering that is working to improve the natural environment. This is because there are so many pollutions that has happened because of human and also the natural activities. There are so many effects of human activities to the environment. For example, the industrialization that can cause the pollution and also increase the carbon dioxide levels. So, we should think and find a solution on how to decrease this pollution and save the environment. The objectives are to reduce the air pollution, to reduce the global warming, and also to take care of human health.
Hello, today I want to present about literature review. First, 6 ways to reduce carbon dioxide emission pollution in industry by Marnie Evans, 11 January 2020. First way is measuring carbon footprint. Second, carbon capping. Third, reducing energy use. Fourth, rewarding green commuter. 5. Reducing fossil fuel dependence. 6. Voluntary offset. The second literature review is capturing carbon dioxide. First, per combustion process convert fuel into a gaseous mixture of hydrogen and carbon dioxide. Second, post-combustion process separate carbon dioxide from combustion exhaust gases. Lastly, oxfuel combustion process use of oxygen rather than air for combustion of fuel. I want to present my group solution is carbon dioxide emission by industry. This is our group schematic drawing solution for the carbon dioxide emission. First, carbon dioxide from the industry will be taken by the new fan technology. The fan will separate carbon dioxide from the air. After that, carbon dioxide will convert from gas to liquid form, so it will collect to the storage tank. After that, carbon dioxide will divide to several ways: geological storage, ocean storage, and uses for greenhouse. The use of carbon dioxide in greenhouse for plant perform their photosynthesis better. Photosynthesis process requires carbon dioxide to carry out the process and can help reduce the carbon dioxide emission. In addition, the forestry will help to reduce the carbon dioxide emission because the plant will do the photosynthesis naturally.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Naidra Sofia. Today I'm going to talk about the geological storage. The idea behind post-combustion, which involves capturing CO2 after combustion, and oxy-fuel combustion, which produce concentrated CO2 as a result of combustion in the nitrogen-free air, is to isolate CO2 to avoid its release into the atmosphere. When CO2 is captured, it is dehydrated and compressed into a liquid form, which can then be safely injected into deep porous rock of sedimentary basins at depth ranging from 1000 to 3000 meters, where it gradually dissolves into brine, the highly salty water present in the basin. CO2 can also be stored in depleted hydrocarbon reservoirs. For three reasons, the process is completely risk-free. First, CO2 is injected into a natural reservoir topped with impermeable rock. Second, a portion of the CO2 is trapped in the pores of the rock, preventing it from moving. And third, the CO2 gradually dissolves into the reservoir saltwater. And finally, the CO2 hardens into minerals over a long period of time. Ocean storage could potentially take two forms, which is the dissolution of CO2 into the water column, typically below 1000 meters, or deposit it on the seafloor at depth below 3000 meters via the stationary pipeline or moving ship through a fixed pipeline of offshore platform, where CO2 is denser than water and is expected to be a leak that would delay CO2 dissolution into the roads. Dissolved and scattered CO2 would eventually become part of the global carbon cycle and be balanced with atmospheric CO2. For a range of ocean storage options, small-scale sea experiments and model simulation were studied for technologies and related physical and chemical phenomena, including in particular increases in acidity, lower pH, and their impact on marine ecosystem. Carbonates are stable due to the reaction of CO2 to metal oxides abundant in silicate minerals and available to a small extent in waste streams. The technology is currently under research, but some applications in the use of waste stream are being demonstrated. The natural reaction is very slow and must be increased by mineral pretreatment, which is very energy intense at this time. In chemical processes, producing volatile carbon containing produce 14 industrial uses of captured CO2 are possible as a gas or a liquid as a feedstock, but are not expected to contribute to significant reduction in CO2 emissions. There is a little potential for industrial use of CO2, which for short period CO2 is generally retained, usually months or years. Processes which use captured carbon as feedstock rather than fossil hydrocarbons do not always reduce their net life cycle.
Hi, so next I want to share about forestry. So you know what is a forestry? It seems like at JB, Johor Bahru, have a forestry, right? We that have a swimming pool, have a beach, and we see many people want to go there to swimming at there. But we not focus to the swimming pool or beach, but we focus to the building that many plants at there, right? Okay, so this forestry I want to share to all of you is a resident that applies the concept of planting many trees and plants that I have said before that, and second, planting trees and plants can help existing forests to absorb carbon dioxide. And the third point, this can reduce carbon dioxide emission because plants and trees need carbon dioxide to carry out the process of photosynthesis. And the fourth or the last point is the forestry can also produce more fresh oxygen due to the planting of many trees. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So next I want to share about photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is a process used by plant and other organisms to convert light energy into chemical energy, right? That's a simple means of photosynthesis, and through cellular respiration can later be released to fuel the organism metabolic activities. So the chemical energy is stored in carbohydrate molecules such as sugar and starches, which are synthesized from carbon dioxide and water. So for the next, most plant, algae and cyanobacteria perform photosynthesis. Such organisms are called photoautotrophs. And photosynthesis is largely responsible for producing and maintaining the oxygen content of the Earth's atmosphere, and supplies most of energy necessary for life on Earth. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So next I will share to all of you about our discussion. And for the first point, exposure to CO2 or carbon dioxide can produce a variety of health effects. This may include headache, dizziness, restlessness, tingling or pain or numbness, feeling, difficulty breathing, sweating, tiredness, increased heart rate, elevate blood pressure, coma, asphyxia, and convulsions. And we all know that carbon dioxide is a natural gas, right? And found in our atmosphere. It is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. So for the second point is three ways carbon dioxide levels can be dangerous to individuals. So for the first one is breathing in a sealed environment. Second, sudden out gassing of CO2 from the ground. And the third is leak in a compressed CO2 system. So for this problem, we have our solving method. Alright. So for the solution is the CO2 tank is a solution to this problem. Alright. So we made a CO2 tank to solve this problem. So we know that CO2 is very dangerous for our health, right? And a fan that divided or set as a filter is divide the clean air and CO2 gas to direct entry into the CO2 tank is also built. Okay, and gas from the CO2 tank will be distributed to greenhouse to complete the process of plants. You know, photosynthesis, right? Right, and directed to geological center and to the sea. So for the fourth point is function of the porosity that we make at the design is to absorb CO2 gas that is around the area and the CO2 gas that spread in the air. And the main benefit is to produce fresh air and to avoid any disease from the CO2 gas. So not enough from that, CO2 gas is also capable of causing global warming. Burning of fossil fuels make factory release thick smoke containing various harmful gases. Large amount of CO2 and greenhouse gas is released to the air. The more greenhouse gas in the atmosphere, the more heat get trapped, strengthen the greenhouse effect and increasing the Earth's temperature. Melting ice at the North Pole is one of the effects of global warming.
As conclusion, we conclude that we can use this treatment method in order to reduce the air pollution. In our opinion, this treatment method is effective because it inhales the polluted air for cleaning, and this can decrease the air pollution. In this project, we learn to solve the environmental problem. Besides, we must make sure that the treatment process is effective. Last but not least, we are be able to know on how to use the method of this treatment so that the pollution could be decreased. So that's all from us. Thank you.
So this is our group reference.